What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with the treasure map preparation video for the upcoming treasure map against Vinsmoke Raiju. Now, this is a treasure map character that is very, very good, and we're going to get to all of her abilities in just a moment. And then, of course, after that, we're going to get into the breakdown of each of these bosses that you are going to have to encounter within this treasure map. Remember that if you are in the East Blue or the Bronze League, you only have to build one team to take on every single boss. However, if you are in the Silver League, being the Grand Line League, or in Gold or the New World League, you have to build a team for every single one of these boss fights. And remember that the Intrusion boss battle does not overlap with your other team, so you can have characters that overlap in your Intrusion boss battle team. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So first thing is first, let's go ahead and talk about the brand new free-to-play treasure map Raiju. This is the character that we're all going to be farming for. Artwork looks immaculate, by the way. She is an int powerhouse fighter character. Her stats right there on the screen are all with her expanded limit break plus, and her captain effect, once you max her generic limit break, is going to be a quick and int 3.5 times attack boosting captain, and then also have a passive effect to reduce paralysis by 1 turn. In terms of free-to-play, this is a very good captain effect that you would definitely see play with, honestly. And because she boosts those two colors in Quick and Int, you can actually hybrid her up with some pretty good characters, such as, you know, the super-type legends being Blackbeard or Katakuri, or you could go ahead and use someone like Komurasaki, which boosts both of those colors, right? So this is a really, really good captain effect. Now, moving on to her special, which is also quite good, maxes at 13 turns generically, and then when you expand her limit break, she goes down to a 12-turn cooldown. It reduces enemies' damage threshold and percent damage reduction by 5 turns, and then it changes block orbs into matching as well. And then it says if your captain is either quick or int, it will poison all enemies and then boost the attack against poisoned enemies by 1.75 times for 3 turns. So a 3-turn conditional booster is quite good. However, she has an added effect that states that if you hit 2 perfects during the turn you launch her special, in the following turn, she's also going to go ahead and poison all enemies again, which means that if the enemy doesn't like remove your beneficial effects, you can actually get a 1.75 conditional boost to launch on multiple different stages. Now, there are definitely parallels between this character and another free-to-play character that does something very similar, being Colosseum Morley. They're very similar, except Colosseum Morley is a defense down conditional booster for 3 turns and can carry that defensive down through multiple stages, and then Raiju does the same sort of thing, but for poison instead. And this is a character you definitely want to get maxed out because she is just a really, really good unit with all manipulation, great utility, and also providing a huge conditional boost to your team. So now let's get into discussing the upcoming Intrusion battle against Ivankov. Now, on stage 2, you have to deal with Inazuma, who is a strength unit and has 430,000 health, with a preemptive attack of having a delay immunity for 98 turns, and also applies 5 turns of defense up, and will also give all your crew block orbs. So quite an annoying stage 2 mini-boss fight, but after you take down Inazuma, you'll move on to stage 3, which is going to be against Ivankov, and Ivankov has 1.5 million health, with a preemptive of full immunity for 98 turns, 3-turn damage threshold, 3-turn attack down, and 3-turn burn are all going to be inflicted to your team as well. And then on turn 2, and every 2 turns afterwards, Ivankov is going to go ahead and apply 5 turns of bind to 2 of your crewmates. And below 50%, he blows away one of your captains for 2 turns, and below 20%, your entire team is going to be binded for 30 turns, which means you're going to die. You are not going to survive that if you get Ivankov below 20%, so it's best to not do that. Now, the team that I'm recommending here is utilizing a full, quick, driven sort-of-ish team. You can see with this team, the only character that isn't driven, of course, is going to be Basil Hawkins, but he's a very useful character to have. We are also utilizing Legend Smoker as a friend captain here, as Smoker provides huge boosts to our team. And the really cool thing about Smoker is that he can be an attack booster or an orb booster depending on the situation, but in this team case here, we are mainly going to be using him as our dedicated attack booster. And then moving on to how to actually beat it, right, we're going to be using Blackbeard and Doflamingo on stage 2, which will give us an orb boost, and our driven characters will get matching slots. And then on the last battle, we basically just launch everything else to get rid of all the debuffs. We'll have orbs, we'll have damage, and you could just go ahead and kill the Ivankov fight very, very easily. So now that you've taken down the Intrusion boss battle, now we're going to be moving on to the Battle Rush bosses, first of which is against Caesar. Caesar is an int character with only 100,000 health, so relatively weak, and his preemptive attack is going to be 98 turn of a delay immunity, and then also he applies a barrier to himself for 3 turns. Now this barrier can change, it is random, it can be either a perfect barrier, a great barrier, or a good barrier. And that's basically it. He just has the barrier and the delay immunity, and that is all. So the team that I'm recommending here, quite simply, is all of the Psy free-to-play Straw Hats with the Super type Luffy as the captain. All of these Straw Hats are boosted once again. They're 1.2 boosters, so, you know, if you can build a team of them, why not? Especially because these are all going to be free-to-play based teams. So a very easy team to build, and of course, there is a free spot on the team as well because, you know, if you've got Luffy for the attack boost, you have Zoro for the orb boost, then you've also got Sanji for the chain lock, you have Frankie for the color affinity. The last spot can be literally whatever you want, but this is only just a recommendation of a team. Obviously, if you've got better characters, you could definitely use that instead. The next Battle Rush boss is against Jewelry Bonnie. Bonnie is a Dex character, and she has 450,000 health with a preemptive attack of having delay immunity, and also 4 turns of damage threshold, and oddly enough, she has a slot barrier, so you need 3 quick orbs to break through that barrier, so it's a pretty annoying preemptive attack, and below 20%, Bonnie will heal 50% of her HP. Now, in terms of a team that's going to take this down relatively easily, it is going to be utilizing double treasure map Zorojuro, which just came out last month. Zorojuro is just a phenomenal captain, and if you guys don't remember, his special ability is a wave clear. He does have double special activation, and when you use his special, not only does it do damage, but it also removes 2 turns of damage threshold. So as long as you save 2 of the Zoro specials for the final stage, that's all you'll need. And then we've also got treasure map Big Mom on the team here for a full board of orbs and all of her beneficial effects. And then we also have the X-Drake, so as long as you consume at least 1 strength, dex, or quick orb before reaching the final stage, which is not difficult to do, you can launch his special to remove 1 turn of enemy barriers. So there you go, not going to be too much of a problem at all for this guy to go ahead and just use that to remove the barrier, then you can deal damage, and with Big Mom's boost, it's not going to be a problem at all. Moving on to the next Battle Rush boss is against Bartholomew Kuma, who has 550,000 HP with a preemptive attack of, once again, having delay immunity, and then he'll also inflict 3 turns of attack down and 3 turns of paralysis to your team, and he'll also give your team a full board of badly matching slots. And then on turn 2, and every 3 turns after that, is going to blow away one of your crewmates for 1 turn, and below 20%, one of your captains is going to be blown away also for 1 turn. Basically, you want to kill him, you know, before turn 2, and you also want to not get him below 20%. Other than that, he's pretty straightforward. You just need a paralysis and an attack down remover and some sort of way to get orbs, basically. Now, the team that I'm suggesting here is utilizing both of the PvP Blackbeard, so hopefully you guys have been playing Pirate Rumble every single day, as you would have enough time to actually max this guy out by now. Then on top of that, we're also utilizing the new free-to-play Gekko Moria, because he has the perfect special to remove paralysis and attack down. We've got Hawkins to get matching slots, and then you got Smoker there just because, I mean, Smoker could be replaced with whatever you want. Treasure Map Big Mom could be there for some extra damage, but once you got all the orbs and everything said, really, it's pretty straightforward from there. So, yeah, let's move on to the last of the Battle Rush bosses. And that last Battle Rush boss is none other than Gekko Moria, who is a quick unit and has 600,000 HP, and his preemptive attack, once again, is delay immunity. He'll also give you 5 turns of chain coefficient reduction, and he'll also inflict 5 turns of despair to your team, and he's going to empty out all of your slots as well. And on turn 2, he's going to enrage himself and remove all of your beneficial effects, and below 20% more, he's going to deal 100 times his attack as damage to your team. So at that point, it's going to likely kill you. Once again, don't get him below 20%, and kill him before that second turn is reached, right? So there's actually pretty straight ways of actually taking down Gekko Moria here, as you're seeing with the free-to-play team. We're using Treasure Map Luffy as the captain because he's a rainbow captain. You've got the brand new 6+ V2 Rayleigh. He's going to be a really good option here, and the main reason is because not only is Rayleigh just a really strong unit, because you can use him to give you the chain lock, which can basically bypass the chain coefficient reduction, but he also is an orb booster, but of course if you're using Treasure Map Luffy, it doesn't really matter anyways. And also you can use Treasure Map Shanks for tap timing bonus damage. You could actually use Shanks, you know, a little earlier on in the fight if you need to. You don't really need to though, because it's a Battle Rush boss. It's not really too difficult. You've also got that Doflamingo as well. The Doflamingo is actually from the Dressrosa event. Now it is a little weird because Global did not get the rehash of that Dressrosa event, which means that not too many players are going to have access to that Dofi, unless if you've been playing, you know, for a decent amount of time. That Doflamingo is an attack booster as well. I think it's like a combo boost, so he gives you an attack boost after like the 12th hit in your combo chain. Then you got obviously Clash Judge, who is a color affinity booster for your Dex units. And then there is an empty spot there, so even if you don't have Doflamingo, just replacing it with some sort of attack booster for your team is going to be kind of nice. Moria does have the highest HP of all the mini bosses, so he will be the most difficult to actually clear later on down the line, so be very wary of that. So now we've made it to the final boss fight against Vinsmoke REIJU. However, on stage 4, there is a mini-boss Sanji. Sanji is strength and has 430,000 health with a preemptive of inflicting 5 turns of despair to your team, as well as having 5 turns of % damage reduction on the enemy side of the field. On top of that, he gives you a full board of badly matching slots and he locks them for 1 turn. So you definitely want to have some type of way to change those orbs into matching or to treat them as beneficial, because you know, when you kill Sanji, you can carry those orbs into the next room. So depending on what you have, you can actually have, you know, a very easy way of getting orbs for multiple stages here, which is great. But once you get through the % damage reduction and the despair, you'll move on to the final stage against REIJU, who has 1.25 million HP. She is also a strength unit, as the same as Sanji, and her preemptive is going to be a 98 turn full immunity, so you cannot apply any conditional boosts against REIJU. She's also going to toxic your crew as well, so it doesn't do much damage on the first turn, but the longer you stay on that boss fight room, the more damage it's going to inflict to your team. So you have to be very cautious of that, unless if you've got some type of support effect that can remove it, or a special that can get rid of poison. But honestly speaking, you don't really need to worry about it so long as you just kill REIJU on turn 1. Another thing that she does is that your left side of your team is going to be inflicted by special rewind for 3 turns, and that's a lot of special rewind, right? So you're going to be very cautious of that. Ideally, what you want to do is any special that you use against Sanji, you want to actually have on your left side, so that you don't actually have to worry about the special actually being rewinded and you can't use it at all. And another thing as well is that 4 turns of paralysis is actually inflicted to your team as well. So lots of nasty debuffs inflicted here. Now on turn 3, the REIJU is going to inflict additional paralysis to your team. Below 50%, she heals 50% of her HP back, and then below 20%, she once again will inflict 30 turns of bind to your team. So at that point, you are just going to lose ever so slowly against REIJU. So once again, you have to be very careful, and ideally you want to take REIJU down on turn 1 so that the toxic isn't really that big of an issue for you. So my free-to-play suggested team is utilizing Sugar as the friend captain, who is going to be a phenomenal character, because remember that when you use her special to transform characters into toy soldiers, that their attacks can bypass bind or paralysis or anything of the sort. So you could actually use this team without having to bring a paralysis reducer, which is pretty dope. So the way that this team is going to clear it is on battle 4 against Sanji, we use CP9 to make sure that we can get rid of the rainbow shield on the enemy, Gyukimaru to treat those orbs as beneficial for 3 turns, and then we're also using Bellamy. Now Bellamy is good for a couple of reasons. Number one is he's going to give us an orb boost on this stage, but he also has the support of the Opera, which is a free-to-play Colosseum character, which states that he attaches to any fighter unit, and then when that character uses a damage dealing or a health cutting special, it just reduces despair by 2 turns. So remember, there's 5 turns of despair that gets inflicted on this stage, so you can use the support effect of the free-to-play Opera to remove some of that despair, as well as your sockets are going to get rid of the other part of that despair. And once that's all said and done, we can use the Sugar special to transform Bellamy, Gyukimaru, and then also the Raid CP9 unit all into toy soldiers. And on the final fight, we can use the special of Zora and NL for color affinity and an attack boost, as well as the super type special of Sugar, and that should be enough in order to take down REIJU for a pretty long time. I would think it's going to do a pretty good amount of damage. So anyways, that's my team suggestion. That's fully free to play. They can take on the treasure map boss REIJU. So that's going to bring about the end of this video. So before we get to the end, we are also going to just showcase the teams that I've talked about throughout this video so far. So the Battle Rush bosses, first of all, is going to be with Caesar Clown, just utilizing the super type. Straw Hat's going to be very easy from there. Now against Bonnie, having the double Zora special, the Big Mom, and also the X Drake special on the final stage is pretty much all you're going to need, but there are plenty of open positions on that team, of course. Now against Kuma, the Big Mom and Smoker aren't really required, but everyone else on the team is going to help you a lot. You've got Hawkins for orbs, Moria for utility, and Blackbeard for an orb boosting special as well, so all of which are going to be pretty useful. And then against Gekko Moria, having a chain locker on the team is going to help you out a lot, which is why I suggest utilizing Rayleigh in some fashion, and then some way to get matching orbs as well, which is why we're going to be using either the free-to-play Dex Doflamingo from the Dressrosa event, or you can use Treasure Map Shanks, each of which are quite good options. And then also you got access to Clash Judge, who is a color affinity booster, which is also another unit that you could use. And then against REIJU, the final boss fight, as we did just talk about before getting to this part of the video, but utilizing Sugar as the friend captain is going to be quite good, and then utilizing the correct activation of specials plus the toy soldiers is going to help you to clear out REIJU. And then against Ivankov, we're using Smoker as the friend captain instead, because he's going to give us more firepower, which is exactly what we need against this Ivankov fight. And once again, building basically a driven base team. We do have Hawkins in there once again, because he's a pretty decent unit to give us some matching slots, of course. We've got Moria for utility, we've got Dofi for orbs on the stage 2, we've got Blackbeard for a boost on stage 2, and also Zora for color affinity and all of his utility buffs for the final stage against Ivankov. So that's going to wrap up this video today, guys. I really hope you guys enjoy this one, and of course I will be doing some treasure map pulls tomorrow. I will likely stream it, and after that we will probably do a team building style stream as well. So definitely stay tuned to the Twitch channel tomorrow, and do not worry, because all of my pulls and my treasure map teams, my personal teams, will be uploaded to the YouTube channel in the coming days or so. So definitely stay tuned for that. And if you guys want to stay tuned for that, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all that One Piece Treasure Cruise content. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.